Here we have the 15-minute price chart for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME. Here we can see that the stock is showing a nice recovery here after a kind of a scary start to begin the week. Uh, Really, by that I just mean that prices gapped lower kind of significantly, and it was a kind of a caused major problems because what really occurred there was that we gapped over important support zones that would have been expected to contain prices to the downside, to contain selling pressure, to slow selling pressure. The market just bounced right over certain buy orders. We can point to this level here. There's this big arrow pointing to a gap in the price chart. Um, this is significant because for a couple of reasons. I mean, one these orders were not initially filled, and it caused prices to continue falling further. I'm sure a lot of people were starting to get pretty nervous at this point. Late during the Monday session, things were not looking very good here. We did fall to lows of roughly 22.30, or right around there. Um, and I understand this was probably concerning for some people. It probably looked like we're going to be heading for much lower prices here soon. But I did want to kind of allay concerns, like lessen concerns here because, this appeared to be happening for a reason. There's less liquidity in the market. It's a holiday shortened trading period. This week could be volatile for that reason because if a lot of money is coming out of the market, it can make things more volatile because you also have this non-farm payrolls report on Friday. I know that sounds like a boring event or something like that, but it's the most important market moving piece of economic data because it really just means the jobs number. So it's the monthly jobs number, and that moves the market more than any other data report. So really, all I'm saying here is that this is a scenario that creates volatility. It kind of adds fuel to volatility, and it can happen in both directions. So this is really why I was viewing this price gap as occurring. And I said that this price gap now is going to need to be filled. So that's actually a bit of a positive piece of news. Um, it's hard to believe that a downside price gap would be positive news, but the reason I'm saying this is because that price gap now has to be filled. So if it occurs to the downside, that means that the price gap now needs to be filled to the top side. So into the second half of the week here, I'm not totally surprised to start seeing prices move higher. I left some of the trend lines drawn here from the prior video analysis that I posted. And as you can see here, I have this upward sloping white line here. Because here I'm suggesting that prices are likely to be bouncing off of these lows. For a few different reasons. I mean, one, we were trading in oversold territory in the indicator reading. That's this purple line down here. It crossed far down into this indicator. It's called a histogram. Um, but it fell below the 30 mark, and that suggests that we're oversold. It actually got below. It's below 20, so that's a fairly strong reading of oversold price conditions. So that in combination with the fact that this gap is going to need to be filled, I was saying you should don't get too concerned here. We are likely to see a bounce from here, and as we can see, that bounce did extend further. I'll draw another line here. So we can see that bounce we really did get another wave higher here in prices. So this was what I was expecting to see. Now this price gap has been filled. So now what we really need to be watching for is upcoming tests of resistance that are really going to determine whether or not this entire 2020 area, this 20 handle in share prices, whether or not this is likely to continue. So really what we have to be looking at here first would be the exponential moving average cluster. And there are some positive developments here as well. One thing that I want to point to is we've got all of these colorful lines here. We've got this yellow line, orange, and purple lines. This is the yellow line is the 20 period exponential moving average. The orange line is the 50 period, and the purple line is the 100 period exponential moving average. During the last trading session, we broke through two of those, but we were having some resistance problems with the third. So that would be this purple line here. We were starting to fall a bit here, and it might have looked as though we were going to break back down here. and head lower and break back below these moving averages. But we did see a bit of a break here. It did technically break to the top side. We didn't see a price close above that level. But I did say that we've had a break here. We would like to see a close here, but this isn't necessary. This upward trend isn't necessarily over because we have pushed through some of the sell orders that would be expected here. So prices did fall back slightly, but we found support at this yellow line here. In other words, we bounced off of this exponential moving average and then started to head higher. So more recently, what's significant here is the fact that we've now pushed through all of the major moving averages, and we've seen prices close above this level. So that's kind of the most significant part here. Not only did we see a break, we saw prices close above here. How do we know that? If we kind of zoom in here, we can see that the body of the candle closes outside of the moving average. You've got a price gun has two components to it. You've got the wick, which is the kind of thin line, and then you've got the body, which is kind of the fatter piece to it. When you see a green candle with the fatter part of the candle closing outside of this exponential moving average, it shows you that you've broken the moving average resistance and you've closed outside of that moving average resistance. So it's a stronger break when you see prices close there. It's a more decisive move in the market. It's a stronger move in the market. It's good to see a break with the wick breaking above here, which is kind of what we saw previously with this purple line here and this green candle. We did technically see a break, but we didn't see a close above there. Here we have now seen a close above here. So overall, what I'm thinking is occurring here is the fact that we did fill this price gap. As I said, we probably would. I mean, that's the most likely scenario. Now, when you see those price gaps, much more often than not, they have to be filled. There are a lot of orders there that still have to be filled. So even though it was to the downside, it was a positive development because now it means, okay, well, now those orders still have to be filled. So we have to move to the top side. I believe, and in my view, this is what fueled this momentum here and allowed prices to ultimately break through this moving average cluster because it did take some more momentum than simply filling the price gap. The price gap would have been filled at roughly 24.33, and we saw highs of 24.88. So, this does suggest that there's kind of some extra fuel in the market here. It wasn't just the price gap. But I think that this did kind of aid momentum. It did sort of push the car and so that the car was able to move on its own, kind of a thing. Like you had some extra momentum, and then this added momentum allowed prices to push through this moving average cluster. And now the next target is the $25 level. We do need to see a break above there. We would like to see a break and a close above there. We will not see it tomorrow because the markets are closed tomorrow. It's a holiday. So we will not come back until Friday, and Friday is going to be a volatile trading session because, as I said, it's this non-farm payrolls report. Might sound like it's not important or whatever, but it moves the entire market just about every time it's released. It does kind of set the tone for the market, at least on that trading day. So it will be important to keep watching these things. We need to see a clear break of the $25 level. And then that's when we have the possibility to go back and retest these prior highs that we're seeing in the stock. That would be these price levels up here. So here's the current market analysis for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME.